A very good afternoon. It is Thursday, October the 14th, 2021. We will continue our science review and vocabulary.
Good afternoon. Okay, it's science review time and vocabulary time. Let's start straight away because I don't want it to make the video too long. Okay, so vocabulary book. We start on, wait a minute, not a minute, a moment. We start on week 2, day number 3. Okay, so get your vocabulary book. Week 2, day number 3. Okay, so day 2. No, not day 2, week 2, day 3. Number 1, horse. 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 I know this word in Thai is ma. So, a horse. You know, did you ever ride a horse? I did once and it was very scary. I never do it again. I don't really like horses. So, a horse. Number 2, H-U-T. Hut. Hut. What is a hut? Well, a hut is, I drew something like this. It's not a house, but it's like a shelter. There, yeah, maybe you can hide from the rain or from the sun. It's just a shelter, usually made of some wood or maybe branches of a tree. So it's shelter, somewhere to shelter from the rain or the sun. Okay, so that's a hut. When I was young, we always made huts outside in the garden. We made it from cardboard and whatever we could find. So number 3, Goldfish. It's not really a nice H. Let me make it better. Fish. Goldfish. Goldfish. You know, goldfish, it's a fish. It can be quite big, but some are small and they are orange in color. So I don't know why they call them goldfish, because they're not really golden. No, they're orange, so they should be orange fish. But some of them are more to the golden color. Number 4, Goose. 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 Well, in school we have, I think there are 3 geese. Those birds, those walk around in the playground, behind the playground in school, they always make noise. So those are geese. But if it's only one, you say goose. If it's more than one, you say geese. And number 5, golf. 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 I never played golf. I want to try it someday. But it's like this. You have that golf club. It's called a club. And they hit a very small white ball. And then, okay, so I never played it. I want to try it someday. Okay, one more time. Horse, hut, goldfish, goose, golf. Copy the words on the right and then we will make 3 sentences. Okay, the first 3 sentences. Number 1, let's build a hut. Let's build a hut. Number 2, 1 goose, 2 or more geese. 1 goose, 2 or more geese. And number 3, I want to play golf. I want to play golf. Okay, so under the vocabulary words, on the sentence, you write these 3 sentences. So stop the video, copy the sentences, and then you can play the video again. Okay, vocabulary, week 3, day 1. They are from a science book, and you also need to study these words because you need to write them in your exam. So you need to know the human life cycle, you need to know the stages. So newborn, infancy, and so on. So study those words. Number 1, childhood. Childhood. So remember, between 3 and 12 or 3 and 11, you are in your childhood. You are a child. Remember, it's not child, it's child. But you can see that in your science book, and you need to, because you need to know these words. Number 2, infancy, infancy. When are you in infancy? From 0 to 2 years old, you are an infant, right? So, infancy. Number 3, adulthood, adulthood. When are you an adult? Between 18 and, what was it, 64? You are an adult. You're in your adulthood. So, I am in my adulthood, you are in your childhood. 4, puberty, Puberty. So, when you are a teenager, you are in your puberty years. Also later in the science book, we will come back to that. And then number 5, elderly. 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 So when you're older than 65, you are considered elderly. Okay, so write these words one time and then we will continue. Okay, the sentences. Number 1, I am in my childhood. I am not in my childhood, but you are. So if you write, I am in my childhood, you're correct. I'm in my childhood. Number 2, mother is an adult. Mother is an adult. And number 3, grandmother is elderly. Grandmother is elderly. Okay, so you can pause the video, copy the sentences under week 3, day 1. Okay, when you finish, play the video. We will review our science exam. Okay, for your exam, as I said already, you need to know the human life cycle. You can find in your science book on page number 29, 30 and 31. So you need to know the human life cycle. Especially you need to know how to write the words. So on page 29, this is the first stage of the human life cycle. You need to write the word infancy in the right place. You need to write the word childhood in the right place. And then you need to write adolescence, adulthood, old age or elderly. So you need to know these words. So review page 29, 30 and 31 and practice the spelling of those words. Okay? So the human life cycle, that's one thing, that's another thing in your science exam. Secondly, materials. You need to know about materials. There will be a section in the exam that says materials from the ground, materials from plants, and materials from animals. So there are, I think, 12 or 15 different materials. So you need to put them in the right place. So you put the materials from the ground. For example, let me give an example. Plastic. Where does plastic come from? From animals? No. Does it come from plants? No. Where does it come from? From the ground, because plastic is made of oil, and oil comes from the ground. Right? Same as metal, like iron and aluminum, also comes from the ground. Right? Because we need to get it from the ground in order to melt it and make it into metal. So, know what materials come from plants, what materials come from animals, and what materials come from the ground. But if you see it, you will know which one is which. Okay? So that's another part that I want you to review. Okay, and the final part I want you to review is forces, push and pull. So on page 49, 50 and 51 of your science book, it's all about push and pull. I want you to know the difference between push and pull, and you need to write and draw an example of a push and an example of a pull. Okay? So that's your science exam. So one more time. Review the human life cycle. Materials, where do they come from? From the ground, from plants or from animals. And forces, push and pull, page 49, 50 and 51. Okay, very good. Oh, I almost forgot. You also need to study forces and then magnets. So also unit 4, magnets, from page 58 to page 62. So 58, 59, 60, 61 and 62. Read and study all about magnets. There will be some questions about magnets. How do they attract? How do they repel? Things that are magnetic and non-magnetic. Okay, so unit 4, forces, magnets, pages 58 to 62. Okay, I will see you again tomorrow morning for the last part of our mathematics review. Okay, so we will do also again a lot of vocabulary tomorrow because I need to do page 1, 2, 3 and 4 of your vocabulary book. So tomorrow we will review the last bit of the mathematics exam, and in the afternoon we will do the rest of the vocabulary. Okay, so see you tomorrow.